Hello guys, karibuni sana kwa our show. Welcome back, and thank you so much for those who've been watching, and if you've been subscribing, we are really grateful. Thank you for supporting us and for watching our show, and please continue watching and sharing with your friends so that we can continue enlightening each other. And on that note, we are back on our personality discussions, and karibu sana Alfie.
Thank you very much.
Karibu.
Yes, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Hey, we took a diversion kidogo.
Yes,
and
true.
we talked about what you are going through, and pole sana for that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we are back.
Now we are back. We are back to our main topic.
We're back to our main topic.
Yes.
Which was personality.
Yes.
And I hope you guys, you've been knowing yourself, taking this journey of knowing yourself. And we said one way of knowing yourself is maybe asking your friends, those who are around you, they know you better. They can tell you who you are. And another way is
doing the personality tests.
Yes.
We remember we said the personality tests are online.
Yes.
So actually people can also go online.
Yeah.
I think you can give them the site. They can go and visit.
Yeah, you can visit one of the sites that we visited. It's called treaty.com. The one that has 16 personalities, and get to see who you are and get to know what are your strengths. Yeah. So today, what are we discussing?
We want to begin discussion on personality disorders.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when we were starting off, we said we have personalities, and these personalities also, they have their own disorders.
Yes.
So from this point on, I think we're going to be looking at that. We're going to discuss the different personality disorders. Yes. And I think maybe that will enlighten people. Because again, I think with personality disorders, watu wengi wajuagi, they have a disorder in ugonjwa.
Hatujui. Unashindwa tu there's something wrong. Hata pengine ujui there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
Wengine wanaona there's something wrong with you.
Yes, yes. And you see, I think as people will come to realize as they watch this particular show, is that personality disorders are actually they are mental illnesses.
Yes.
Wajasi tuwasemaga ule mtu ni wazimu. Na tunamaliza hiyo story.
Na tuna joke about it, tuna laugh about it, na tunachana.
Exactly. But you see, mental issues actually can be treated, as we're going to see.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, so I think with time people now will be able to pick and laugh. Of course, ukiona uko na disorder mazee. Unajua you can also tell. I believe you can also tell with time.
Yeah.
And then uko na ka issue. So how do you handle it? Yeah.
Yeah, na tujikubali. Ukiona uko na ka issue, jikubali.
It's an illness that can be treated.
Yes.
Nika kushikwa na malaria. Uko na malaria, uende hosi mazi utibiwe. So same thing with mental issues. Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful journey we are going to take down. So stick with us the next few shows and let us learn together.
Exactly.
Yeah. So actually, what did we talk about? What is a personality?
What is a personality?
Yes, what is a personality?
Personality is the way you think. I mean, like I love saying it's the way you think, because I think the way you think determines a lot of things, because it determines how you behave, how you react, how you feel, how you even relate with others.
With others, yes.
Because this is now what defines who you are.
Who you are.
You know, and that's basically your personality. You get?
That's who you are.
That's you. That's you. So people will come and say, Tabi mazee, wewe unakuwa introverted. Mazee uongeagi na watu, when you come umekaa chini, you know. And then somebody else will come and say, Alfie mazee, na wewe unakuwa tu kila mahali, huwezi kaa tu place moja utulie.
Huwezi tulia. Huwezi tulia. Kama umetulia wewe ni mgonjwa.
Yes. You see? So those are that's how people perceive you.
Yeah.
And that actually creates an image of who you are.
Of who you are.
So basically that is your personality. You get?
It's actually who you are.
Yes. So based on who you are and how the world perceives you, then I determine these other things. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just go on.
So getting to know what is a personality and who you are, your way of thinking and doing these other things that revolves around you, we can now think about a disorder.
Yes, and even before you get to the disorder, I think one thing most people don't realize, our personalities begin when we are quite young.
Very young. Actually, we are born with a personality.
We are born with a personality, but as we grow up, actually the personality might change. You see, for instance, you might find somebody when they are young, or very young, they are quite introverted. But when they get into their teens, as they get to know who they are, as they're getting into adulthood, it changes. They become extroverted. But in between all of these, now that's when the disorder also comes in. You see?
And I think we hold on to that because I think we are going to discuss about that in the courses and symptoms and all that.
Yes.
Getting to know why they change.
Yes.
Why we have a disorder.
Yes.
And all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful thing to note.
Yes.
So a disorder. You said it's a mental illness.
Mental illness. It's a mental disorder. So, okay, remember the way we say the personality determines who you are. It's how you behave, how you relate with others, how you feel, you get. Now, when it comes to a disorder, it's also the same thing. It's how you relate with people.
It affects how you relate.
How you relate with people, how you're able to carry out your tasks, how you're able to do even your job. You see. So with like you're gonna see, you realize there are some people. It's very hard for them to associate with others. There's that part we always say, ni antisocial. But ni antisocial kwa nini? Now we need to get down to that particular point.
Route, yes.
Yes. Kuna mwingine utakuja you say, this person hajui handle stress. Kwa nini hajui handle stress? Personality yake kwanza ni gani? You know, you start from that point.
Yes.
What personality does this person have? Now, what this personality yako nayo, ikikuja kwa stress related issues, ana handle aje. And I believe in the previous show we discussed about stress management. I think
we discussed about stress management.
Yes. So I think if people watch that now, then we come to this particular show on disorders. I think it will make sense.
Yeah. And I think for now it's good if people know their personality.
Yes.
It's good to watch the other shows about personality, and then you can
now
relate with what we are talking about today.
Exactly.
And I think also personality disorders, some are long term because they start quite early.
Yes.
Some are long term, and also it can take a long while before somebody gets to know this is a challenge that I have.
Yes.
Some are long term and some are
short term, triggered maybe by events.
Yeah. We can call them short term because it's triggered and then it comes out. Then probably with treatment. Or when the stress issue disappears. Or somebody knowing how to manage it.
Yes.
It
disappears. What are the types of personality disorders?
We can look at that.
I think we can look at that.
They are grouped or clustered variously.
Yes. Actually, they are grouped according to the common characteristics. So like now we say there are 10 personality disorders, but these 10, again, they are clustered, or they are grouped into what we call clusters. So there are actually like 3 clusters. Cluster A, cluster B, and cluster C. So these clusters, actually, what you realize, they are the disorders that have similar characteristics. So it's from now this point that now you're able to pick this particular person has this particular disorder. You know, I think we'll just look maybe at the clusters briefly. I think we'll introduce the clusters.
We can introduce the clusters and maybe mention the disorders.
Some of the examples of disorders that are there. Exactly.
Why are these personality in cluster A? It usually involves an unusual behavior. This cluster A are disorders with an unusual behavior. A different thought of pattern that is not kawaida.
It's not kawaida. It's not common. It's not common.
Yes.
So actually, these guys their way of thinking, okay, it's odd. You know, there's a difference between odd and different.
Yes.
So this one, the way of thinking is odd and unusual.
It's an unusual.
Yes. So it's odd and unusual, not different.
It's not different.
Yes.
Because we are all different.
We all think differently, yes. But now when you have this odd way of thinking or unusual way of thinking, now there's a problem. And I think we just look at the examples. Maybe we mention a few. We have the paranoid personality disorder.
The one we called paranoia.
Mtu akona paranoia. But you see, when it comes to the paranoid personality disorder, this is a person who has extreme fear.
You see the unusual part of it.
Yes, extreme. Use the word extreme. You know, we all fearful of something. Kuna wale wanago akiona spider hivi mazee amepita mpaka na ukuta.
Anaondoka anaenda anaachia nyumba mzima spider moja.
What ikae. But now when it comes to the paranoid personality disorder, these people have an extreme fear of even getting harmed. So they don't trust anyone.
They don't trust easily.
So akiona tu mtu yote hivi anaona huyu anataka kunimaliza. So now this is paranoia.
And they can look at you and imagine, just have an imagine to
Yes, Alfie ameangalia tabia anataka kunimaliza. Mimi ninaondokea hapa.
Na hata mwingine anasema ule mtu sijampenda.
Exactly. So it's extreme. It's beyond normal.
Yeah, it's
you see. So you can see this person is actually having an odd thought. It's unusual.
It's unusual.
Yeah. You will see. Okay. Some cases we say, you can see somebody and you see danger. You know, for instance, that's an instinct. We call it a gut instinct. It tells you, hey, mazina umse kai. But you cannot be looking at people across the board. Kila mtu anda kupita na wewe.
Mwingine hata na shughuli na wewe enda shughuli zake unamuona hata.
Unamuona hivi unaona danger ndio hii. So that's a paranoid personality disorder. Yeah. The other one we have is what?
Schizoid
personality disorder.
Personality disorder, yes.
Yes. Now this person prefers to be alone. Hataki mambo ya watu wengine. And I think people should realize that schizoid personality disorder is different from being antisocial. These are two different disorders.
Hizo hataki kukaa na watu.
Na hayuko interested. Hata kurelate hata na watu. Yeye anataka tu akaa peke yake. Yeye hataki vibe yenu.
Kama ni mtu wa shule, high school, ako peke yake.
All the time this person.
Akipewa group work, ako missing.
Ako kwa group work lakini haongei. Wale wanapoteleka ndani ya group.
Ama anaenda missing.
Yes.
Hata show up.
Hayuko hapo. So this one they are not interested at all. They are not interested. Yeah. So later on I think people will be able to see, will be able to explain the antisocial so they can see the difference. Yeah.
And the last one in cluster A is
this one is called schizotypal personality disorder. Now this particular person has an unusual way of thinking and behaving
and speaking. So the way they speak affects their behavior.
Yes.
I think their thought pattern affects the way
they speak and the way they behave. And then they are uncomfortable being around people. So actually, if we look at the three we've mentioned, paranoid personality disorder, schizoid personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, they all have one character. They have similar characteristics. Wanaogopa watu.
Hawataki.
Hiyo ni cluster A. Say wako peke yao. Them they want to have their own space. Okay, per se not really having their own space, but kujificha, because that's what I'll call it. These people literally hide. So they don't want to go out there aonekane. Mwingine
anaona watu anaona danger.
Hii ninataka kumalizwa.
Mwingine anaona watu anaona I don't want.
Huyu mwingine yeye ata decide vile atakaa, vile atafikiria, vile ataongea.
And I think kwa schizotypal kuna wengine wakiwa mbele ya watu hadi ni mtu hana naturally they don't stammer.
No, they don't.
But afika mbele ya watu ana stammer,
yes.
ana sweat.
Akianza kuongea sijui ataongea nini, thoughts zimekataa. Everything about this person goes haywire. Yes. So and that way you realize this person cannot relate with others. So actually even having close relationships is very difficult.
So imagine that person going for an interview.
It's going to be problematic. Or even getting a job where they're supposed to work in groups.
Or even in relationships.
Yes. Huyu mtu atakuwa akiongea, so partner wake atakuwa kishindo umse ni nini.
Yeah.
You know. But interestingly you might realize some of these people akiwa with that one particular person. Anaweza ongea.
Kuna mtu mmoja tu.
Anaweza ongea. Lakini mtu mmoja akikuwa withdrawn, now that is a disaster.
The world crumbles.
Yes. So this is cluster A.
That's cluster A for us.
Yes, this cluster A.
So we go to cluster B.
Yes.
And then what does cluster B really involves?
Now, cluster B.
Why you laughing?
Cluster B too are interesting. They are dramatic.
Oh, okay.
And emotional, yeah? Yani kila kitu yao ni drama and emotional. Yani au sasa ni extreme.
Wow, sasa ni
extreme ya cluster A.
Yao ina shoot tu.
Yao wameenda. Yeah, basically they are dramatic and emotional thoughts, you know, and even behavior.
That keeps on changing.
Yeah, si constant. Ako hivi. 1 minute niko. Yeah, the next minute. You know, so they are all over the place, you know. So I don't know. Now this is where the personality we're discussing, antisocial. Sasa antisocial hapa ndio wanakuja. Because people who are antisocial, their long-term pattern involves manipulating people, exploit wase. Now this is who
manipulating through the emotions.
Yes. Ziko huko zinachezea alafu na kuviolate watu. So that is what the antisocial person is.
So this person, what you're trying to say, atakuonyesha anakupenda.
Yes.
Alafu anakupenda so that manipulation.
Akumanipulate hapa kuchezea hapo ndani. Na kuviolate vile anataka. So social habits zake, they are outside.
They're anti.
They are anti. So actually it's the habits that this person has. So unaona hapo ndio inaleta shida na relationships pia. Because utaingia yes, initially ninapendwa, then una flow, then kidogo all of a sudden everything is no longer. So manipulate vile anataka and then sasa kucheze.
I think these people are extroverts because utakuta watu wanakuja anaona umse ako sawa, tuongee, tu relate. Lakini kidogo anakuchezea drama,
anatoka nje.
Emotions anakuchezea hapo and then ana keep on changing. This person was, I thought this person was okay.
Yes. So that is the antisocial. So that's why we were saying it's different from the paranoia. Paranoia anaogopa watu. You see, they fear, relating with people. And
it's different from schizoid.
Schizoid, exactly. They're also different from schizoid. So antisocial actually is their behavior. That's why we're saying cluster B, you look at them, you notice they are dramatic. And then their emotional thoughts and behaviors, they are never constant. They're never constant. Yes, they're all over the table.
Okay, we go to another one. Borderline personality disorder.
Yes. Borderline personality disorder. Now these people, emotion-wise, iko shida. They don't know how to manage their emotions. 1 minute they're happy, 1 minute, the next minute they're sad. The next minute they're angry.
Even for no reason at all.
No. Emotions they are all over the graph. So that's why it's called borderline. Because 1 minute you might think this person is happy, the next they've changed.
They're always on the borderline.
Exactly.
Anaenda
pande zote, yes. Kwa pande zote, exactly,
It makes them so impulsive and uncertain about how they see themselves.
Yes.
So they even have a problem with themselves.
And actually, to understand this particular person is very difficult.
Very.
Because you're not sure what is really going through their brain at that particular moment. Because wewe unaweza kuwa pale, unaona we are good, we are discussing this. We are all calm and composed. Then the next minute, amelipuka. Pissed off, angry. Kwani nimesema? Then the next minute ametulia. The next minute analia.
Even today. So imagine this person in a relationship or this person in cooperatives.
Yes. But it becomes problematic. It will become an issue even in decision making. Because this person is very emotional, you are not sure whether the decision is based on facts
or emotions. Or even the suggestion they are making or the decision they are bringing on the table.
Yes.
If you don't take it, and then drama starts happening.
Exactly. So you notice, so for this particular cluster B, you notice all these people are dramatic. The two we've looked already, antisocial and borderline, they are all dramatic. I don't know, another example of cluster B that we have, we can look at. Histrionic personality disorder. Sasa hawa ni wengine nao tena. Dramatic, extreme drama.
And have very strong emotions.
Yes, now anataka attention from others.
Anajua kile anataka lakini
vile ana express. The most important thing about this is the way they're expressing themselves. Nataka tabi twende pale kwa shop. Lakini vile nimekuja kwa tabi ninataka twende kwa hiyo shop.
They are very blunt.
Na ninataka create your drama mpaka twende kwa hiyo shop. So they are on the extreme side of whatever they want. So they are particularly very dramatic, Then I think the last personality disorder on this group.
Narcissistic.
Well, narcissists.
I think most of us, we all know this personality.
Yes. I think people have come across narcissists.
Yes.
Lakini kwa nini tunaitaga narcissist? Unajua hapo ndio sasa hebu to explain hiyo part. Why do we call them narcissists? Because personally I've come across the term so many times.
I also come across it.
Yes, huyu jamaa ni narcissist. So hebu tuambie narcissist ni nani? Hebu tuambie narcissist ni nani?
I'd wish our viewers would come on board and explain to us this because
the one thing that stands out with narcissists, hawana empathy.
Hawana.
Alifia kwa hapa, amefika mwisho.
And they want you to know them.
Wanataka attention yote, lazima uadmire. And then the worst part about these people is that they think they're better than anybody else. So mimi ndio kusema, mimi ndio ninajua hii story, wewe hujui.
We accept too.
Yes. And they're very strong in whatever they bring out, So these are the narcissists. So if we look at cluster B, the disorders, you notice one thing about these guys is that their emotions are extreme.
They are very strong.
They are very strong, and then they are very dramatic. Yeah, so that's why it's called cluster B. Yeah, so the antisocial, the borderline, histrionic,
And the narcissist.
and the narcissist. Yeah. So for our viewers, actually, what we'll tell them right now, we are mentioning the disorders. But we will look at this particular, we'll have examples and actually go into detail from each particular clusters.
Yes, it's true, it's true. So we go to cluster C.
We look at cluster C. Now for cluster C, now ni waoga sasa. They are anxious. Sasa now wameenda the other side. Sasa unaona pande tumetoka kwa drama.
Hao wengine walikuwa mahali.
Sasa now we've gone to the other extreme.
We've gone to the other side.
So now these ones, they are anxious and have fearful thoughts and even behavior.
Yeah. Fearful behavior, fearful thoughts.
Yes. So now kuna huyu anaitwa avoidant.
Yes.
Na hapa ndio watu wengi husema huyu mtu ni antisocial. So actually they are not antisocial.
They are not antisocial.
So
who's the avoidant?
Avoidant personality disorder. They are very shy. Extreme. Kuna shyness. Hata Alfie ni mshy. Tabia mshy. Yeah. But now this is extreme shyness. And then wana feel hawajafika.
Akona self-doubt.
Yes, I'm not good.
I'm not good. Unajua mse mtu let's come do this. Ashaanza kujidoubt.
Exactly. Alfie leo unakaa poa. Mkosha unakaa poa.
I know.
Extreme shyness. So yes. So these ones, they're called avoidant. This is avoidant personality disorder.
They always have this fear of rejection.
Yes.
They've not even tried anything.
No.
But they are fearing the rejection.
Huyu ni ule mtu utakuja kumwambia Tabi, si usimame hapo hivi usalimia watu. Umesha shrink, umeanza kucalculate, sasa ndasimama nini? Watu watanionea
kitu.
So it's extreme shyness and you fear rejection. So because of the fear of rejection, you'll actually not even go and try something out.
It blocks you even from exploiting the world.
Exactly. Exactly. Now mara mingi utakuta the avoidant people, actually they are introverted. They are introverted because now they fear what the world will say or what the society will say about them, you know. Anyway, so that's the avoidant personality disorder.
And we have the dependent personality disorder. Yes. Even as the word goes, they are dependent on people too much.
Yes.
They feel they are incapable of doing something, so they depend on you too much.
When do you support? When do you support? Yes. You are everything for this particular person. So actually for them, they don't have the confidence. Ya kujaribu kitu ingine yote. So now actually you realize they behave more or less like the avoidant personality disorder. We're almost on the same line. You get. So cluster C, as we are seeing, they are anxious and they're fearful.
They're fearful.
Yeah. So they don't have the courage or what we call the guts. Ya kujaribu kitu ingine. Yes.
And the last one in this cluster, the OCD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder.
Yes. Sasa nao ni wengine.
Naona ni kama wako karibu ukaa kama narcissists.
Yeah, but now these are on the extreme side because these are perfectionists. And then they are not flexible. Nimesema hii ni A.
So they need to be in control.
Yes. Yani kama si yeye kusema haiko. At the end of the day. They want order. But sasa si ile order. You know there's order. This is a plate that's supposed to be in the kitchen, peleka jikoni. But kuna ule ni jikoni, kwa sink, kwa shelf. Na kama si hiyo protocol tutakosana. You know, so these ones they are extreme.
It's on the extreme.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are perfectionists and they're inflexible. Once the decision has been made, is made.
Yeah, hata elewa kwa nini nataka to discuss about it.
Hapana. And I believe when I look at this particular disorder, actually most people tend to believe it's the same as the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. No, they are not. They have similar characteristics or symptoms, but kuna difference. So I believe later tutakuja kuangalia OCD itself. But now for the OCPD, as we'll call it, obsessive compulsive personality disorder, like we said, they're perfectionists and then they like order, extreme order.
They are not flexible at all.
So mimi hapa naona hapa ndo madictator utokea. Jamaa vile anakuaga, nimesema tunaenda hivi. If you don't toe the line, my friend, ana deal na wewe.
Hiyo yao inawasaidia hapo.
Hapo inawasaidia. Yeah, like kwa hao mazee, even relationships, even in the office, you know, even in the office it will bring a problem.
Inaharibu.
Yes. Hata kwa relationships.
Itaharibu kabisa.
Yeah, it will be chaotic.
For relationship you want to have a two way discussing things.
Hakuna yeye ameshasema. Na way yake ni right. So na idea yako tafadhali kaa kando.
Una shelf tu.
Yes. And I believe looking at these personality disorders, this is where we see if somebody is not able to pick, they have a disorder. Because mara mingi, I believe people don't even know they're sick. Well, si tunasema tu, this guy, this person, he'll behave hivi. But we actually don't pick it as a disorder.
You don't pick it. I once saw a young boy in a school, and I was told that's the behavior of that young boy in a nursery school somewhere. This child will enter, say hi to the teacher, like, come, no smiling, no facial expression, nothing, come, bound, as they're walking, they're bouncing, greet, class, and even the class, that's how they behave.
Wow. Now that's extreme.
And I was told, I asked, this is a problem. I noticed this will create a problem to this child in the future.
Yes.
And I was told when the dad is like that. So I'm like, this can be a disorder.
Yes.
And these disorders, can it be passed from a parent?
Yes. Actually, now where we are going, that's where we are heading. What are the causes of the disorders?
The causes.
Because remember we said when it's a disorder, it means it's a problem. So, and here we've said these are mental issues, you know, and like even when we were beginning, I said sisi tunaonaga mtu pale nje anaokota karatasi, mwingine unakuta ameandika kwa ukuta. So like personally, there's a person I met a few years back. Sisi tunawaitaga ni wenda wazimu. But now the interesting thing, because I observed this person, where I used to be or where I used to meet him, there was a shop. So this guy would come in, he drinks Coca-Cola, specifically a cold Coca-Cola. Atakuja, I want Coca-Cola. So it depends, Alfie can say to buy, the shopkeeper can say to buy, or atakuja kute mtu mwingine, client mwingine pale, nataka Coca-Cola. Once in a while, this person will come with money. Kama amepewa exactly pesa ya Coca-Cola, atakuja alipe. Yeye mwenyewe ingia kwa fridge, opens the fridge and removes that cold Coca-Cola. Afunguliwe. Simame kando, drinks the Coca-Cola, returns the bottle
and
walks away. So now what stood out for me is one day we met at the same shop. But this time he had excess money. So he had 100 shillings. Came to the shopkeeper, gave her the 100 shillings. Si ni kawaida ni Coca-Cola. Fungua fridge, chukua Coca-Cola yake, funguliwa, akaanza kunywa. When he finished, returned the bottle. And the next thing alisema, hujanirudishia change. But huyu jamaa ni wazimu anaokota makaratasi. So I actually told the shopkeeper, no, this person is not, this is a sickness, this guy is sick. Meaning this person is taken to hospital and the issue handled, this person will come back.
Yes.
Because if he can be able to tell, he's given the shopkeeper excess money. Na anagojea change yake. And trust me, after 3 hours he came back and found me at the same shop, ile change alipeana. Akapewa kwa kingine. So, I mean, sio ni ugonjwa. You know. So I think when we look at the causes, I think maybe it will give us an idea of what really goes on. Yeah.
So I think one of the causes, we might not really per se find the real cause, but they say childhood traumas, they say
genetics, like you had mentioned, yeah.
They say it reaches a time in the teenage years. Some people develop this.
There's verbal abuse.
Yeah. So I think some of the things that have been pointed out is the genetics.
Yes, genetics plays a part because, like when you find somebody who has the OCD. Or even the OCPD, the OCPD, the obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Yeah, it can be passed down, you know. So you might find it's something that goes generational. Yeah. So genes also play a part.
Plus, that it's important to get these things treated.
Yes.
So that you're not. I think if it's treated, chances of not passing it down are less.
Yeah, it is. Of course, remember it's an illness.
Already treated it.
Yeah, it's an illness. So, of course, if you treat it, it will not be passed down to the next generation. Or even if it is passed down, it's controlled.
It's controlled.
Because now you're already aware there's this issue that is in our family. So now how do we handle it?
Yes.
Yeah. So actually for the genetics part, it can be fixed. I believe it's something that can be fixed, you know. We also have childhood trauma.
The childhood trauma.
Yeah. Like I call them the parents who are abusive, verbally abusive. So this particular child will grow up with fear. They might not even be able to express themselves. Where we're saying the person becomes paranoid, might also come in. Let's assume this person amezoea kupigwa, extreme beating. You know, there's beating and then there's extreme beating. So of course this person will always have the fear.
Because that's the only thing wanajua.
Exactly. Mama akiingia hivi anaanza kushout. So automatically the person just shuts down.
And shrink.
Yes. So this is something that will actually will grow with the child.
Ama mwingine because of your beating and extreme behavior, naye anakuwa extreme.
Yes, now and a fight back. And a fight back, yeah. And I've known I pass down pia.
And I pass down, yes.
You know, this is unconsciously, but they are doing it, you know. So there's childhood trauma, which also comes in with verbal abuse, physical abuse, you know. Yeah. Then we also have high sensitivity.
Yes, high reactivity.
Yes, upper there is light, there is noise, you know, there's this external stimuli, as we'd call it. So it actually might affect this child. And notice for these causes that we are talking about right now, zinaanza mtu akiwa mdogo. These are childhood issues, you know. So this particular person, don't forget they're growing. So atafika teenage, kama hataweza kujitoa, if they are not able to get out of a situation.
And mostly they are not able. Because they're kids still.
Yes, and you notice when we're talking about disorders, it starts when you're in teenage and then young adulthood. Hapo ndio inakuhit. And then once you get that disorder, if you don't handle it, if you don't treat it, for the rest of your life unaenda nayo. Because
mostly you've been dealing with the causes as you're growing up as a child, the causes are still there, and then when you're in your teenage years, when you're starting to know yourself, who you are.
Yes.
Now, as you're knowing this is who I am, this is my personality, the disorders.
Yes, and you see, even like there are those people who have cases of bullying in school. Now you see, if you study that particular child and go back, you will notice there was a disorder somewhere.
There was an issue.
There was an issue that triggered for this person to become a bully. You know, but now since we don't go deep, we only handle the surface issue. So tunasema huyu ni bully, apigwe suspension, apigwe expulsion, but are you getting to the root of the problem? What triggered this person to become a bully? Because I believe this person was not born a bully. You know.
No, everyone is born upright.
Yes. So katikati hii maneno ingine, triggers katikati,
causes.
Yes, they bring up the disorder, and that's what we're saying. You don't handle it. This person becomes an adult, and then they have the issue. Yeah.
And also another cause can be peers, the peers or the pressures as one is growing up, and even I think it also affects the adults.
Yeah, same, yeah, because you see, we live in groups or communities, yeah, so we are social beings. Actually, we say human beings are social beings, yeah. So if you happen to get into a social group that influences you negatively, actually you might end up having this particular disorder. For instance,
Shakahola.
I mean, that was fast. Yani tu umeona tuende Shakahola tu haraka hivi.
Hapa inafola hapa ndani.
Yeah, okay. So you see the feeling of inadequacy. It forces us to want to fit in. And because we are really trying so hard, it actually creates an issue. Because I feel like I don't look good, I don't fit in, so what do I need to do?
I want to be in control.
Oh God, exactly. So it pushes you to bring out some behaviors that are not normal or not usual, you know, they're unusual, yeah. So it brings out a very bad image that we might not even be able to get rid of.
Exactly. So I think some of these things we do here, how we react, are the symptoms that can tell one that actually have a disorder. How we react to things.
Yes.
How emotional intelligence, how we react to things, situations, how we handle stress.
Stress, exactly. All these are issues that should be handled well in advance, you know, because if you realize I overreact, then it means you have an issue, you know. So how do we handle it? And then something about personality disorders, as we call them, most of them you cannot say they have an outright syndrome. For instance, I have malaria, I'll have chills, I'll feel, you know. But for personality disorders, it's different. You may not know.
You might not really.
And then the people around you might not even notice it as a disorder. The only time we notice it as a disorder ni tukiona ukiokota makaratasi kwa barabara. That wasema amekuwa wazimu.
Hata tuione kama disorder, tuniona yani at the extreme ni wazimu.
Ni wazimu.
We conclude.
Ameenda. Yes. But you see it started from somewhere. Maybe I had this fear. Extreme fear. So ikafanya nikajifungia at one point ikalipuka. So mimi nikiona watu mimi ni mbio niende. Kuna mwingine utakutana na yeye akiona watu tu hivi ni mawe ina fly. He is fighting.
He's reacting towards something.
Yes. So it's extreme, it's on the other end. Aya, Alfie amesimama kwa crowd hivi ninaangalia crowd mazee nataka kushrink nimezwa na mchanga. I cannot talk, mdomo imekataa, nimesweat yangu yote, literally ninaweza anguka chini. I can even faint.
And you know, for these people, that is normal behavior for them.
Yes.
They will not notice it's a problem.
Now wewe ndio uko na shida. Now that's the funny part. Thank you. That is the word. That is what I was looking for. Inafika mahali unasikia tu Tabi amenionea. But actually that's a disorder. Because kwake ako sawa.
Ako normal.
Yes. Because you see, look at the narcissists. The narcissists, for them, they believe they are right. And they don't think anybody else can give them a suggestion or an idea.
The contrary is wrong. The one is right.
Perfectionism, you know. So it goes on the extreme end. So for symptoms, it's a bit hard to be able to pick the symptoms, but it can be picked by the people surrounding you, your community. Actually, I would call it your community because your community could be your immediate family, it could be your church, it could be a social gathering. Those are the people who can pick that you actually have an issue. But now if they pick and don't act on it, sasa iko shida.
Sasa hapo ndio iko shida.
Iko shida. There's a problem. Yes.
And so we've talked about the causes and all that.
Yes.
So how do we get treated?
Well, interestingly for personality disorder, wanaita leo nitacheka sana Tabi.
Mbona unatuchekelea?
And treatment yake ni interesting. It's called psychotherapy. Psychotherapy in the sense that it just needs talking. Yes, medication will come to reduce the extreme part.
Behavior.
Yes. But imagine it's talk therapy. Wanaita talk therapy. Tabi kujokaa chini na Alfie, tafadhali tusema shida yako na nini. And then I sit down, I listen.
Kwa ni maana huko nje kuongea. Tuongee.
Lakini sasa unajua kwanza sisi wa Afrika wanaume tulifunzwa kuna kuongea. Sasa iko shida.
Ndio unakuta watu wenye wako na extreme behavior, the extreme on the higher side or the extreme low unakuta mostly ni men.
Yes.
Because waongesha.
No, we don't know how to express ourselves. But you see, for ladies, wanaenda mashane. They talk. Now you realize for mental disorders, it's talking. Yes, you'll get medication to calm you down and all that. If you have extreme fear, of course, you have the medication to reduce that. But at the end of the day, talk. Talk therapy. Mkae chini muongee.
I remember we said stress has a way of coming out. So it's like it's a stress in your brain such that imekupea a disorder. So when you talk it out, you're relieving it.
Yes.
Unaiondoa from
inakutoka. Yes, inakutoka.
And the other person anakwambia a way of managing your behavior ikikuja.
Yes. So it's something that can be treated. It's something that can be handled, you know. So even right now as we're talking, if you notice somebody with extreme behavior, kaa chini ongea naye kwanza. You know, have a sit down, talk. Then if you notice it's on the higher end, now you can bring in the healthcare professionals who are able, they are trained to diagnose, you know, and they can be able to sit down and have a conversation with this person.
Very true. And if you see your friend, this one person, you're the only friend to ask this person, get help to your friend.
Yes.
Pengine huyu ni ule tu mwenye hataki kukaa na watu, ni wewe tu. Na ukitoka hapo, the world crumbles.
Yes. In fact, most people, like we've said, most people, they don't even realize they're sick. Lakini sasa baadaye anaona wewe ndio uko na shida si yeye. So it's like mnavutana. You know, and in fact sometimes that's why you find these people hata wakichukuliwa sometimes they even restrained because they become violent. You know, because for them they're okay. So they don't understand why you keep on insisting they are not okay. Yeah. So I believe that is the introduction.
That's the introduction
to the personality disorders. Yeah. So I believe from there now we'll get into detail. We'll go into the various clusters. Maybe a few. We'll do examples into detail.
Yeah, we do examples. We go into detail talking about each one of them. I think it's very important for us to talk about them.
Yes, at least pick what we would consider to be common disorders. We look at them. We look at what could be the triggers, how to diagnose, and maybe even how to treat. You know, as much as we've said it's a disease, so of course it has a treatment somewhere along the way. So we look at it and maybe educate our audience more on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So guys, and if you agree with us that we should continue about this, talking about these things, eka comment hapo chini. Thumbs up.
No, subscribe maze. Hii subscription maze. Tunawangoja na ninangoja hizo comments. But these comments,
Would like to know your comments so that tujue tunaelekea, are we talking about the things that are affecting you? Yeah.
Maybe a suggestion of maybe a topic or something you want us to discuss maybe in detail. You can also do a comment on the same.
Yeah.
And then we look at it.
We look at it.
Yes.
So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening, and please share, subscribe, like, comment, as we've said. And voila, till next time.
Hey, niaje wase. Maze, 1st June. Usawa Adventures. Lake Baringo Park. Twende holiday maze. Twende one day trip tujibambe, Twende tuone maji pale, tuone hizo crocodiles, tuone hippo. Twende kwa island pandili nyingine, We see what Lake Baringo has to offer. 1st June, one day trip. Usawa Adventures. Maze, come join me twende. Peace.